Hi, everyone. This is Virginia Pierce Kelly, and we are in our second day of learning about African American Black history. This is the new program we started for appreciating people of color, different cultures and countries, and multiculturalism that contribute to this particular country, United States of America, that we're now living in. This is the African American Black History Education and Enlightenment program. And so we're going to just get into this, and it'll be about 20 minutes. We're going to do this every night at 6:30 p.m. on the Beyond 50 Wellness YouTube channel. And you're welcome to ask questions, make comments. I am not a certified teacher, but just like you, I'm learning about how people of color and different other nationalities and multiculturalism contribute to the forming and shaping of this United States of America country that we are living in right now. So it's important that we learn about our history. A lot of other nationality and countries, they know their background, they know dates and history and time and places. I mean, that's wonderful. I think it's great that the people know their history background, their lineage. But um, as for me, I just know what little my parents told me when I was growing up. For example, my dad always told us that we're part Cherokee, and later on, I found out through just online search that my mom is part Creek. And then, as I said in on the outset in the first program, part one, that I did a like a saliva DNA type of thing where you send your saliva into this organization, and they will do analysis on it, and then they'll send you back information, what countries and countries that you may be from, and other cultures. Well, I found out that I'm a little bit of everything. I got relatives all over the world, planet Earth. So let's just go ahead and get into this African American history book that I purchased decades ago. And last night we started from this book called the African American Answer Book, and it's the history version of it. And I'm going to give the answers to the first 12 questions that I asked and yesterday. And so just you want to see if you got it right. So I'm going to go ahead and repeat the question, and then I'll have the answer from this book that I just showed you. So, what famous march helped influence the Voting Rights Act passed in August 1965? The answer that is A, March to Selma. Number two, what is a theme of the classic speech delivered by Martin Luther King Jr. during the March on Washington that drew 250,000 people? And the answer to that one is I Have a Dream. Now, this is true and false. Number three, in 1964, when Martin Luther King Jr. received the Nobel Peace Prize at age 35, he was the youngest man ever to receive this honor. Is that true or false? The answer is true. Number four, what civil rights leader and clergyman organized the Poor People's Campaign in Washington, D.C.? The answer is Ralph Abernathy. Number five, what anti slavery newspaper was founded by Frederick Douglass? The answer is the North Star. Number six, what is the name of the educational institution that was established by Booker T. Washington in 1881? The answer, Tuskegee Institute. Number seven is a true or false statement. Ralph Bunchy was the first African American official in the U.S. State Department. True or false? And the answer is true. Number eight, what famous quote was written by David Bradley? The answer is, quote, there are no good times to be Black in America, but some times are worse than others, close quote. Number nine, In what year did the U.S. Congress abolish slavery? The answer, 1865. Number 10 is another true or false statement. L. Douglas Wilder was the first African American to be elected governor. Is that true or false? The answer is true. Number 11. What African American was instrumental in the development of the city of Chicago? Number 11, the answer is Jean Baptiste Ponte de Sable. And number 12, the question is, who was the first African American congresswoman from the South? The answer is Barbara Jordan. So each night we're going to ask 12 questions or make either true and false statements, and I will give you the answers. You can select from those 12 questions, and then the next night I will provide the answer from the book that I just showed you. It's a Black History question and answer book. So tonight we're going to pick up on question 13, and we're going to go to 13 to 25. So get your thinking hats on. So question 13. What anti-slavery activist was nicknamed after Moses, the biblical figure who led his people from servitude to the promised land? Now I'm going to give you 3 selections, and you have to choose the best answer, the correct answer. And next day, which is tomorrow, we'll do the answer. So for that one, number 13, A is Sojourner Truth, B is Harriet Tubman, or C is Frederick Douglass. Number 14 question, who advocated equality for every man, self-defense, and self-help? Selections of the answers that you can select from: Elijah Muhammad is A, B is Father Divine, C is Malcolm X. Number 15. Shawnee State, considered the oldest African American college in the United States, was founded in what year? A, 1800, B, 1837, C, 1869. Number 16 question, for a month in 1872 in Louisiana, who became the first African American to serve as governor? A, PBS Pinchback, B, James Rapier, C, Blanche Bruce. Now, number 17 is true or false. Elijah Muhammad founded the Nation of Islam. Question 18, what civil rights group was organized on Abraham Lincoln's birthday in 1909 in New York City? A, NAACP, B, SNCC or SNCC, or C, Niagara Movement. Question 19. Bethune-Cookman, the first 4-year accredited college founded by a woman, Mary McLeod Bethune, is located in what state? A, Mississippi, B, Florida, C, Alabama. Question 20. Who were the founders of the Black Panther Party? A, Huey P. Newton and Bobby Seale, B, Ralph Abernathy and Martin Luther King Jr., or C, Malcolm X and Angela Davis? Question 21. Who was the first African American mayor of a major U.S. city? A, Tom Bradley in Los Angeles, B, Carl Stokes in Cleveland, or C, Maynard Jackson in Atlanta? Number 22, the question is, name 2 signers of the NAACP Charter. A, Jane Addams and William D. Howell, B, Thurgood Marshall and Martin Luther King Jr., or C, Booker T. Washington and George Washington Carver? Question 23. What African American writes best selling mysteries, some of President Clinton's favorite books? A. Walter Mosley, B. Toni Morrison, or C. Charles Chestnut? Question 25. Who was the first African American to preside over a national political convention? A. Barbara Jordan, B. Ron Brown, or C. John Roy Lynch? And then the last set of 12 questions that we're going to ask tonight from this book, African American Answer Book. Number 25 question. In 1990, Jesse Jackson negotiated the release of nearly 300 hostages held by A. Iran, B. Libya, C. Iraq. So we'll have the answers to those questions 13 to 25 tomorrow. So we're going to go into some more resources about African American Black history, and we are educating ourselves and we're enlightening. It means we are also encouraging more knowledge and learning more about different people who contributed to the forming and the shaping of this United States of America. So this is another little thing that I bought decades ago. It's called Brain Quest Black History. And I read some of these yesterday too. So we're going to go into some different ones tonight. To whom did Martin Luther King Jr. address his letter from Birmingham City Jail? The answer is his fellow clergymen. In his 9,000-word appeal, he asked for support in the cause of ending racial injustice in the South. Question. Name the organization whose slogan is, quote, "A mind is a terrible thing to waste," close quote. The answer is the United Negro College Fund. I remember as a little girl seeing those commercials, and they would say in the commercial, "A mind is a terrible thing to waste." Another question is, was Kemet the ancient name of Egypt, Ethiopian, or Algeria? Answer, Egypt. Kemet means black land, a reference to the rich black mud formed by the flooding of the Nile. Was the Black Entertainment Network founded by Maggie Walker or Robert L. Johnson? The answer is Robert L. Johnson in 1980. What was the purpose of President Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation? The answer is to free the slaves of the Confederate States in rebellion against the Union. The first issues of two popular digests for African Americans were published in 1945 and 1951, respectively. Can you name them? The answer is Ebony in 1945 and Jet in 1951. We're going to go into some more questions from the Brain Quest Black History. In what Midwestern city did Dr. Daniel Hale Williams establish the first African American hospital? Chicago, Illinois, in 1891. What fashion designer said his clothes were intended, quote, not for the queen, but for the people who wave at her, close quote? Willie Smith of Willie Wear Limited. Now that's interesting. On May the 10th, 1994, who was sworn in as the first Black president of South Africa? Nelson Mandela, who served a prison term from 1964 to 1990 for his political activities against apartheid. Did Jacob Lawrence depict the lives of Frederick Douglass and Harriet Tubman in paintings, in poetry, or in film? The answer is in paintings. Each portrait consists of 40 panels in tempera. Question: what U.S. president signed Executive Order 9981? That was Executive Order 9981, which ended racial discrimination in the armed forces. It was Harry Truman in 1948. Desegregation had already begun on a trial basis during World War II. And another question: Solomon Brown was a scientist and artist. Did he become the first Black chief clerk at the Guggenheim Museum or the Smithsonian Institute? It was the Smithsonian Institute in Washington, D.C. Now we're going to go to another source. It's called African American History, and these are some cards, just flashcards called knowledge cards. And I'm going to just open up this pack here and just pull out some cards here. I mean, it doesn't really, I'm just going to mix them up here. And so, who is this person here? Can you tell me who this person is? Look at her picture very closely. Well, this is, it says on the back of the card, Mahalia Jackson. She was born in 1911 and she passed away in 1972. And she's a gospel singer. And I'm going to read her bio here. Mahalia Jackson, the queen of gospel music, left a legacy of gospel recordings and performances that remain unmatched to this day. She grew up in New Orleans, and although she was familiar with the records of Bessie Smith and other blues singers, her father, who was a preacher, allowed only religious music to be played at home. Jackson made her first record in 1934, and 11 years later, she achieved national fame with Move On Up a Little Higher, which sold 1 million copies. In 1950, she made her first appearance at Carnegie Hall. Jackson has been credited with popularizing the gospel sound with her unforgettable records, Precious Lord, Bless This Household, and Let the Church Roll On. She won Grammy Awards for her albums, Great Songs of Love and Faith, and Make a Joyful Noise, excuse me. Okay, here's another card of Black history or African American history, knowledge cards. You know who this person is? See, I'm learning along with you. We're learning together about different people of different multicultural ethnicity and backgrounds who contributed to this wonderful country we live in, United States of America. So this is James Beckwourth. So I'm going to read his bio on back of the card. James Beckwourth was born in 1798 and he passed away 1864. He was a trapper and a marksman. James Beckwourth was a contemporary of Kit Carson, Dewey Crockett, and Daniel Boone. And like them, he was tough enough to succeed in the Wild West. Born a slave, he lived with several Native American tribes from 1826 to 1834, including the Absaroka, or the Crow people, if I pronounce that right, Absaroka, Crow people. From them, he earned various names acknowledging his increasing honor and bravery. First, White Handled Knife, then Morning Star. In 1856, when he was made a tribal leader, and later Antelope. So these are the different names. He had White Handled Knife, Morning Star, and then Antelope. In 1844, while leading a wagon train of new settlers, Beckwourth discovered a passage through the Sierra Nevada mountain range. That pass, now called Beckwourth Pass, became an overland wagon route to the upper Sacramento Valley. Beckwourth carried the mail by horseback from Monterey to Southern California in 1847. It is believed that he was poisoned by the Absaroska people during a visit in 1864 to keep him from returning to live among people in the outside world. So we have several other cards that we can go through, but because of time's sake, and I do want to keep these short because I know a lot of people are very busy. So this is going to be the end of this particular segment of the African American Black History Education Enlightenment Program. We're gonna, the Yahweh Elohim the Most High will. We will continue on tomorrow, and we will give the answer to the African American Answer Book history, that the questions I sent out. Go ahead and get your thinking caps on, and you can do research, and you can also do any type of web search to get the answer, and we will be on this. And the point of this is to help everyone learn and know and appreciate that there is history of other nationalities and cultures and countries and ethnicity and multiculturalism in this country that people contributed to helping to build and help to make this country what it is. Thank you so much for your time, and hope to see you next day, tomorrow. Thank you. Blessings.